Chapter 78. Palman Wu Gang. The old blacksmith was immediately so angry that he couldn't speak. The yellow-clothed old man on the side hurriedly pulled back the little girl and drank. "Dead girl, don't be so big and small. Have you talked to the seniors like this? Che, you old men are so uninteresting. This young lady is going down to play. You old men play by yourselves." The little girl waved her hand and ran downstairs. "Wuji, quickly watch her. If you let her run away, you won't come back." Seeing this, the yellow-clothed old man hurriedly said to the youth at the side. Zhao Wuji was instantly filled with bitter smiles, but still immediately followed. On the high floor, the three old men immediately let out a sigh of relief, as if they had sent away a plague god. Third old man, "This precious granddaughter of yours is really. Volby has a headache when I see her." The old man in blue shook his head and sighed. "Simply a demon," the old blacksmith said indignantly. The yellow-clothed old man smiled bitterly and said, "It's not true. The entire imperial capital who see her is not afraid of. Even those sons of the royal family to see her have to take a detour. This girl lawlessness. The entire Zhao family has been, no one can control him. Old chap, this girl should be locked up. We can't let her come out and wreak havoc on others anymore." The old blacksmith was still thinking about what had just happened and was filled with indignation. Lock up her? How could she not be locked up? Last time she dug up the ancestral tombs of the three great families, she was locked up. But this girl is so powerful that she even escaped the imperial capital by digging a tunnel out of a secret room. No, she's only captured back now. The yellow-clothed old man laughed bitterly. The blue-clothed old man and the old blacksmith were speechless. In an elegant room of a restaurant within Fengdu City, Wu Fei was accompanying a wild-looking, domineering youth in drinking wine. This person was his elder brother, the domineering warrior Wu Gang. Wu Fei poured a cup of wine for his big brother Wu Gang. His face was slightly heavy as he said, "Big brother. Besides his cultivation not being weak, that kid also knows an incomparably domineering fist technique. I lost to this fist technique last time under carelessness. Big brother, you have to be careful." "Careless? Luckily you can say that. If you spend less time drinking and spend your time on cultivation, you wouldn't have lost to a nameless person," Wu Gang said coldly. Sharp eyes looked at Wu Fei, cold sweat dripping. For this big brother, he grew up in awe. At the moment a face of embarrassment. "Big brother, after going back this time, I will definitely close my eyes to cultivate. And I will never come out until I reach the 4th level of the Jiden stage," Wu Fei whispered. "HMPH, I hope you do what you say. I'll help you out this time. Just take it as a warm-up before fighting those guys. I hope that kid called Kangxian won't let me down too much." Wu Gang raised his cup and drank it down, a bloodthirsty light flickering in his icy gaze. After Kangxian left the Haoyu residence, he headed straight towards the Fengdu fighting stadium. Halfway there he met Hua Huanyong, so the two of them traveled together. Congratulations to Fairy Flower for breaking through the Jiden stage, and it's still the 8th turned Silver Dan. Worthy of being a warrior woman, Kangxian congratulated. This time when he met Flower thinking wrong, the other party had undergone a huge change. Not only had she broken through the Jiden stage, but she had also formed the 8th turned Silver Dan. Apparently, during the 7 days that he was in the Fengdu mountain comprehending the transit map, Hua Huanyong also broke through the 8th turn realm and immediately formed the Dan. Once the Dan was formed, the combat power changed dramatically. If it wasn't for this consecutive ascension of 3 levels, I'm afraid that Kangxian didn't have the certainty of defeating Flower thinking wrong, let alone taking on Overlord Warrior Wu Gang. Flower thinking wrong smiled gently. A trace of curiosity flashed through her beautiful eyes, saying, "Gongzi overpraised. It is rather my slave who should congratulate Gongzi." It was only a short period of 7 days that Gongzi unexpectedly broke through to the 7th turn realm. This speed of progress is truly enviable. Kangxian at the moment did not thus cultivation, As a Jiden stage Huanrong naturally instantly sensed Kang Qian. No different from the cultivation of 7 days ago, her heart was very shocked. Slightly strange encounter, compared to the fairy, is still far from it. Kang Qian smiled and shook his head, then pulled away from the topic, and asked, "Fairy is also one of the 7 heroes of the Great Tang Dynasty. Can you give me information about the other 7 heroes?" "Of course." Flower Thinking Wrong smiled as a look of gravity immediately flashed in her beautiful eyes, and said, "Your Excellency is about to face off with the bastard warrior Wu Gang, so I'll start with him. Although the Great Tang 7 warriors haven't really fought each other, but some people have already roughly ranked them from their past battles, and the bastard warrior Wu Gang's strength is completely capable of occupying the top 3. "Oh." Kang Qian's eyes immediately stared at what he said. The sword and sword dual Jedi he had already seen. This Wu Gang was able to occupy the top 3. His strength was absolutely strong. Hua Xiangrong continued, "Among the 7 warriors of the Great Tang Dynasty, the Mad Warrior Shen Tuji and the Berserk Warrior Lei Yun recognized as the 2 with the strongest strength, and the 2 of them are said to be close to the Imperial Capital 4 heroes. Below them would be the hegemonic warrior Wu Gang and the Confucian warrior Liu Suifeng, while the slave and the sword dual Jedi are the least powerful." Kang Qian frowned when he heard this. His eyes became even more gloomy. He had already seen the strength of the blade and sword twin extremists, and Flower Thinking Wrong's current strength was also roughly known. Then he could completely surmise Wu Gang's approximate cultivation. This was definitely a formidable enemy. I'm afraid that he would be in for a bitter fight this time around. However, this is only interesting. Kang Qian couldn't help but have a shocking battle intent emerge in his eyes. If the opponent is too weak, then what is the point of this duel? Only by constantly fighting strong people could one climb to a higher realm. Powerful battle intent burst forth from Kang Qian's body, causing the Flower Thinking Wrong on the side to slightly glance sideways, a trace of surprise flashing through her beautiful eyes, and then she gently smiled and continued to give Kang Qian information about the hegemonic warrior Wu Gang. Kang Qian is very grateful. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy in order to win 100 battles. Now he already has an understanding of Wu Gang, while Wu Gang does not know anything about him. Invariably, he has already taken the lead. The rest was a clash of absolute strengths. Near the Fendu martial fighting arena, Zhao Wuji followed Zhao Linga closely to a gambling house, which was overcrowded, with the sound of bets being placed everywhere, and the noise was constant and boisterous. "Little sister, what are you doing here?" Zhao Wuji had a bit of a headache as he looked at his bouncing, chattering demonic sister in front of him. As a son of a great family, he usually didn't bother coming here. "Of course it's to place a bet," the little girl said excitedly, her petite body squeezing into the crowd and placing bets like those gamblers. Zhao Wuji's face was filled with black lines. The little princess of the Zhao family. Coming to this kind of place was already rude, but even squeezing in with these gambling ghosts, if others knew, it would definitely cause a hullabaloo. However, Zhao Wuji was a little curious. Who would this girl favor? Although Wu Gang's strength was good, he hadn't seen that guy called Kang Qian, so he couldn't comment on it. However, when Zhao Wuji saw the crowd around him, these gamblers were all buying Wu Gang to win, and there was hardly a single one buying Kang Qian to win anymore. Obviously, bully warrior Wu Gang's reputation was much louder. Come, buy to win. Shocking news. Wu Gang has already broken through the Jiden stage and has formed the 8th turn Silver Dan. His strength is unfathomable. It is said that he is no longer below Crazy Warrior and Mad Warrior. It was very noisy in the gambling house. There were voices of gamblers talking everywhere. They were all discussing how long Kang Qian would be able to hold up under Wu Gang. The little girl excitedly squeezed into the crowd and came to the betting table, shouting, Quick, this young lady will buy Kang Qian to win. 100 medium-grade spirit stones. The crowd burst into an uproar. The little girl even bought Kang Chon to win. Brain is broken, right? Little girl doesn't know any better. Probably here to play. Where did the little girl come from? Where are the adults? Quickly pull her away. The hubbub went on and on. There was a lot of noise everywhere. The little girl was depressed to realize that no one paid any attention to her. The crowd all thought that she had come to play. Even the gambling house boss thought the same. The gambling house boss droned, "Go, go, go. Little girl, play aside. This is not a place for children." Obviously, he didn't believe that a little girl would be able to take out 100 medium grade spirit stones out. The little girl sniffs and is furious. Damn, even the dog's eyes look down on people. At that moment, the fiery temper erupts. Roars, "Mummy, what is it that says? This young lady will buy Kangshan to win today." This young lady bet 1,000 middle grade spirit stones. Rarely, when the little girl finished speaking, she waved her hand and poured out a bunch of medium grade spirit stones from her spatial ring. The crowd was stunned, and that gambling house owner was also filled with astonishment. None of them thought that this little girl in front of them would be able to take out so many spirit stones. Only Zhao Wuji, who was not far away, had a pitch black face. This girl's spirit stones had long been cut off from the family's supply. These spirit stones should be the dead man's wealth that this girl had dug up in the ancient graves. The vast Fengdu martial arts fighting arena was abuzz with people. There were figures of cultivators everywhere. And apart from the young cultivators, some of the old generation powerhouses had also started to appear. From this, it could be seen how many people's hearts had been touched by the battle between Kang Chon and hegemonic warrior Wu Gang. Of course, most of the people were running towards the bully warrior's name and didn't care about Kang Chon, a kid who had just debuted not long ago and whose origins were unknown. Time passed very quickly. In the evening, the sun was setting. The afterglow of the setting sun sprinkled down, coloring the entire Fengdu martial arts arena with a haze of light. At this moment, the periphery of the martial arts arena was crowded with people. Even the streets outside were surrounded, and there were figures of cultivators everywhere. In the several tall buildings near the martial arts arena, there were also quite a few figures standing. These people were either big names in Fengdu City or famous names in the cultivation world. The best spots to watch the battle were occupied by them, and bystanders could only watch from the periphery of the martial arts arena. For this battle, the people in Fengdu City were very concerned, although all of them didn't think that Kang Chon had any hope of winning. But Kang Chon was able to defeat Wu Fei. His own strength would definitely not be too low. And this time, he would definitely be able to force out some of hegemonic warrior Wu Gang's strength. And these people were rushing to watch the battle for this reason. Coming, just as the crowd waited anxiously, a terrifying true chi fluctuation suddenly came from the north. And then a long whistle appeared, so loud and deafening that I'm afraid the entire Fengdu city could hear it. The crowd couldn't help but be cheered up. The person coming was actually the overlord warrior Wu Gang. I didn't expect that he would be the first to arrive. Silver light flashed in the sky. Wu Gang proudly stepped on a radiant flying sword. His true chi surged down him. His long hair flew and his sleeves hunted. His eyes were like bloodthirsty brutal wolves, flickering with an icy cold light. Everyone shuddered involuntarily at the sight of these bloodthirsty eyes. The crowd was very shocked. How cruel does one have to be to have such a gaze, worthy of being a hegemonic warrior? Under the gaze of Wu Gang's icy gaze, the clamor in the square slowly fell silent as the crowd waited for the upcoming battle. After Wu Gang arrived, he didn't issue Kang Chon's figure and couldn't help but frown. But then he snorted coldly and stood with his hands on one side with his eyes closed. That brat called Kang Chon really has good guts. He dares to make the hegemonic warrior wait for him. He really is impatient with life, daring to accept bully warrior's appointment to fight. This son naturally has some guts. It's just that I don't know how long he can hold out. Or let us see the true fighting strength of the hegemonic warrior. Maybe the ranking of the great Tang 7 warriors will have to be changed. I heard that swordsman Deng Yijian and blademan Deng Yijiang have already arrived at Fengdu City. I wonder if they will come to watch the battle.